Hey, Sharam Namdarian here. Welcome to Robe Fridays. This is not going to be a common, a common thing. Um, it's just that usually on Fridays I've had like 3 hours sleep or something, and I ain't getting dressed for fucking no one, mate. No one. In this video, we're going to be talking about the feeling of feeling fatigued, feeling tired, and how surrender is a powerful way to access deeper amounts of energy. Now, with my own history when it came to energy, in high school, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue, and I am always surprised about the sheer amount of people who have been diagnosed with that. That being said, if you speak to me and if you really get to know me as a person, you'll know that I'm probably one of the most, I guess, high energy people just there. Like, this is me on a few hours sleep, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do today? I'm going to do the things. We have to do the things. So I've mentioned this a lot before on this channel, but I will mention it over and over and over and over and over again. There is a motherfucking difference between emotional fatigue and physical fatigue. Emotional fatigue is, like, I would describe as a direct byproduct of the mental chatter that we have. It's when we are, oh God, I'm too tired, oh God, I can't do this, or I'm feeling anxious. I want you to think, like, here's another way of saying it. I want you to think you've got like a certain amount of energy a day. You know, maybe some people got more depending on health and well-being and all that sort of stuff. But say you got 100 units of energy. Now, what most people do is we have a lot of internal conflict going on. So like, oh, I should do this, but I shouldn't do that, or I've got to do this, but I'm not feeling well. So we have a lot of internal conflicts going on that use up this energy. So the actual amount of energy that we have after all of our internal conflicts happen is, let's say, around 50. So what I'm getting at here is that most of the time as humans, we tend to use up a lot of our energy with emotional energy, our emotional drama, whether it is with someone else or whether it is with ourselves. I believe the term is coined emotional labor. Now, physical fatigue, there is a motherfucking difference. It's physical fatigue, I would describe, is where you are slow to respond. You have a delayed reaction time. So what do people do? Someone says hello and you go, yes. So for example, right now, I'm physically fatigued. It took me a while to even come up with an idea for this video, and I'm going to be very slow during the day. There's things I need to do, and I will not push myself too hard. But the idea that there is a difference between emotional fatigue and physical fatigue is extremely important, because we as humans cause ourselves a lot more problems. This is why you will see, and a good friend of mine, who I did the branding for his amazing sandwich store, if you're watching this, hello, this is why you see these crazy entrepreneur people who can function on very little sleep. Now, is it good for their health? Look, that's a whole different video. Is it good for your health? A whole different video. Can you do it? Yes. Can you do it for long term? Up to you. But what happens when we dive deeper into our issues with fatigue and around fatigue and use the method of surrender to the fact that we are tired and our emotional bullshit, is that we end up clearing out all of the emotional drama that causes us a lot of fatigue. So you will, say for example, surrender to the feeling of, oh God, I'm tired. Not to the feeling of tired, to the feeling, oh God, I'm tired, right? So suddenly you let that go, you surrender to it, you let it run its course, and then you eventually let it go, and you realize that, oh, maybe I wasn't that tired. Maybe I'm just used to being tired. Or maybe I'm scared of having this much energy. For me personally, that was one of the things. I recently, through a meditation, realized that growing up, I felt like I was too much for people. I had too much energy. So feeling tired all the time was a safety net. It was a way for me to dull myself in order to feel more included. Now, as an adult, I realize that's absolute bullshit. That's something we can throw away, throw out the window. But as we surrender, as we then ultimately let it go, we do get, some of the time, not all the time, what is called a concluding thought. That is a realization about the situation. So with emotional fatigue, we want to start clearing out our slate. This is why whenever I work with people one-on-one, you can book your call today. Message me or link in the description, if there is a link in the description. That people often report they have more energy. They want to do more things. It's not because I've suddenly given them more energy, but because we've removed the mental fucking blocks here and there. Like, oh God, like say for example in relationships, like, do they like me? Do they not like me? Oh God, I better not worry about do they like me. Oh God, I don't want to seem like desperate. Oh God, I don't want to stress out about stressing out. Oh God. And it's like all of this emotional bullshit, which served us at one point, probably doesn't serve us now, gets in the way. So our 100 units becomes 50 units, becomes 25 units of energy. So we as functioning human beings, still functioning, but far less beyond our means of capacity. Now, what's really interesting about this is that as you surrender then ultimately to your feelings of fatigue, you will become more comfortable with being tired. So fatigue itself, you become more comfortable with being tired. You'll also become more comfortable looking after yourself. There are, and I'm going to use this term very lightly but also heavily, there are people out there who love pushing themselves for a pure ego mindset. Now, there is nothing wrong with that. I want to get that across. I definitely have been one to do that. Like, oh yeah, look at me. I'm getting up at this time, 5 a.m. and all that sort of stuff. I got to bed at 6 a.m. today. Once you surrender to your fatigue and to all the bullshit you have around it, it does not necessarily matter to get up early just to feel good about yourself, because you feel good about yourself. It doesn't inflate your ego. Your ego's already good. It's already satisfied. It knows you're great. It knows that you're fucking magnificent and special. So we as humans don't realize how much of a capacity we have. And I think that's a really important thing to recognize, that we as humans, our capacity outstays our reach. And when you surrender to your fatigue, you'll know when it's time to rest, and you'll know when it's time to push yourself, and you'll know when it's time to be comfortable pushing yourself, and you'll know when it's time to actually be comfortable not pushing yourself. You'll be at peace with it. You know, I often find, what's the phrase? When you're okay with it, when you're okay not with it, that's when you have freedom over it. So when you're okay being tired, you're okay not being tired, you have freedom over it. When you're okay being fatigued, you're okay not being fatigued, you have freedom over it. We as humans, our capacity far outstays, outreaches what we know. This isn't a forced positivity. This isn't bullshit we tell ourselves. This is pure surrendering to whatever is going on the inside, so we as humans can be free from the bullshit that we have built up over years. We can be the person we were meant to be. Thank you so much for watching this video!